If you're looking for a perfectly weighed discussion on the pros and cons of cold email versus cold calling, there are probably a ton of YouTube videos and generic Google articles that you can come across that will perfectly try to weigh each of the options so that it's being fair to both. Ultimately, I hate this kind of research because the answer always ends up being it depends. And that just leaves you just as confused as you were to begin with. So I'm not going to do that here at all. In this case, I'm just going to get into why cold email is better than cold calling. This is not made by some affiliate marketing content, right? Like somebody hired by an affiliate marketing company that's a content writer that's just trying to hit a bunch of keywords and trying to be fair to everybody. This is somebody who's on the inside actually using cold email. And so, yeah, basically what I'm saying here is that I am biased. I am biased towards cold email. If that isn't clear to you right now, I don't know what to tell you. But what's really good about this is that there's actually a reason for it. Nobody forced me to do cold email. I picked it because I weighed my options and I decided to go with cold email over cold calling. And in this video, I'm just going to go over why I did that, basically why cold email is better than cold calling. And I'm going to actually start with a reason that I think is like not talked about that much, but it's actually my favorite reason. And it's that with cold email, you get much better show rates. Okay, so if you have a cold callers that are very good at getting a yes on the phone, that's amazing. But you know this, and the truth is that a lot of those yeses were from people that were kind of like overwhelmed on the phone and just said yes because maybe the person that they were talking to was really nice and they just wanted to agree with them, and maybe they just wanted to get off the phone and it seemed like the easiest way to do that, right? Okay, now compare that experience with cold email. Chances are if you're watching this video, you ignore 99% of cold emails that you get in your inbox. Maybe you hate cold email. And since you ignore almost every single cold email that you get, you probably think, well, cold email doesn't work because I ignore all of them. So why would I waste my time using that kind of marketing if I don't really respond that well to it? The truth is that any experienced cold emailer knows this. We know that 9 out of 10 people aren't going to respond, and that's why we do it at scale. Of those 10 people, one person does respond. Now, who is this person? Who is this unicorn? Is this somebody who just goes around and says yes to every single cold email that they get, just hopping on a bunch of calls with anybody who messages them? No, they are just like you. They ignore 99% of cold emails that come into their inbox. But something about this email in particular piqued their interest, right? So they saw it and they were like, if what you're saying in this email is true, then you know that's exactly what I need. So let's just see where this goes. Send me some more information. Convince me, right? And here's something that's really important about this person who did decide to say yes. And it's that they weren't coerced in any way to say this yes. And this is something that is really hard to accomplish on cold calling, what I mean by that is making it seem like it's their idea whenever you refuse to get off the phone until they say yes. All right, so that pretty much covers that point. I'm going to get into the next reason now that I prefer cold email over cold calling, and that is that you get more and higher quality absolute output. So let me just describe what I mean here. Many people make the mistake of comparing like conversion rates at the point of contact. Yes, one cold call does convert better than one cold email, but is that even what you care about? Or do you care more about having more total leads at the end of every single month on a recurring basis? Because yeah, again, one cold call has a better conversion rate than one cold email, but does one cold call have a better conversion rate than 100 emails? Does it have a higher conversion rate than 500 emails or 1,000 emails? Because what you get with cold email at scale is the absolute monster volume that you can accomplish today using cold email is underestimated by people who don't know what they're doing. And I mean that sincerely. And then on top of that, when you have these new AI powered prospecting tools and and different techniques that you can use to be extremely targeted. This isn't even spray and pray either. This is extremely targeted. You can reach out to hundreds or even thousands of decision makers at your ideal clients on a daily basis. Now, think about, in contrast, just the insane amount of hiring and training and managing that it would involve to do the same kind of volume with cold calling. And then the other reason is more of a boring reason: business manners. Of course, with cold calling, with cold email, you can send the email whenever you want. Somebody checks their email whenever they have time, whenever they are like in between tasks. And whereas with cold calling, you don't really have control over the timing. You can't really like be watching your prospect and making sure that they're just completed their task, that they just got out of a meeting to call them then. There's a very good chance you're going to be interrupting their flow, and that's just starting off on the wrong foot. I'm not going to get too much into this one because it's a pretty obvious one. You already know everything that is to be said here. But what I will say now is something that I kind of implied I wasn't going to get into at the beginning of the video. And that's some of the pros that cold calling actually has over cold email, because it's really important about what I'm going to say right after that. So a couple of things that are really good about cold calling that you don't get with cold email is that, if a prospect is just like really close to the line of saying yes, just needs a couple of clarifying questions, it's much easier to get to that point to answer those questions if you're already on the phone with them and they're having a helpful human actually helping them instead of just like looking at a screen. And then similarly, very related to this, there's the trust thing. With cold email, you're just looking at words on the screen. With cold calling, you can be a really friendly voice on the other side of the line that can help them trust your company a little bit more. So I don't hate cold calling, and it's really important that I say that, because actually something that I would recommend even more than just doing cold email is an omni-channel approach to your marketing. Now, this achieves a couple of things that are really important. One of them is that a lot of people just have a preferred method of communication or of doing business. So like some people respond really well to cold email. Some people respond really well to cold DMs. Some people respond really well to phone calls. They think that business should be done over the phone. And some people just hate being on the phone. So if you call them, they're going to be angry at you and then just, want to never talk to you. So, if you're able to reach out to them on a bunch of different mediums, then some people are just way more responsive on one medium than other mediums. And you're really limiting yourself by reaching out in only one way, because you're probably reaching out to some people who are otherwise interested in your offer that just hate talking to somebody on the phone or hate answering emails. Okay, and the other thing that a multi-channel marketing approach accomplishes is that if you pair your cold email with your cold calling, then and with maybe with ads and maybe with SEO or just with every marketing channel available to you, then you are putting yourself in front of your clients as many times as possible. So, if they're ready to make a decision right now, amazing. They are going to see your name a bunch of times, and they're going to start recognizing you. And that's going to make them want to choose you over the hundreds or thousands of competitors that are out there. Or if they're not ready to make a decision now, but they are ready at some point down the line, they might remember who you are, and then they might look you up because they were like, well, I didn't want that 3 months ago, but today I do. What was that company that sounded like they could really help me? Oh yeah, if you talk to them enough times, they might remember, or they might look through their emails to find you. And so, getting in front of companies as much as you possibly can is never a bad thing. Ask Coca-Cola, ask any huge company that you see everywhere. That's what they do. Now, peeling that back and pointing out the caveat that's really important to point out is that if you try to do this all at once, then you basically just end up trying to be, a jack of all trades, but a master of none. So the good news here is that you can experience all of the benefits of doing whatever you're doing now, whatever you're considering doing, and still getting all of the benefits of doing cold email at scale in a masterful way by just working with us. So just real quick, here's a little breakdown of what we do, what we can offer. It's a 5-step process, and the first step of the process is a technical setup, which basically just ensures that we don't end up in spam. If you check your spam box right now, you're going to find a ton of cold emails that are in there. We make sure that doesn't happen by doing our technical setup precisely. The other thing that the technical setup accomplishes, it just allows us to be able to contact hundreds or thousands of your ideal clients or the decision makers at the companies that you want to target on a daily basis, so that we can contact thousands of them on a monthly basis. Now, the second part of the process is list building, where we actually build out about 4,000 clients that match your description of your ideal clients on a monthly basis. And the third step of this process is crafting messaging. So this is basically just where we make sure that the emails that we actually send out to the decision makers at your ideal clients, companies, actually resonate with them, so that they speak to the pain points that they're having. We're highlighting the offer of your solution and get responses. So the fourth step of the process is lead nurturing and scheduling. So once they're responding, I nurture those leads, answer whatever questions that they have, and then book them into your sales calendar once they're interested. And remember, once people are interested in an offer that came through cold email, there's a really good chance that they really want your offer, because it's so easy to just ignore it, just like they do with all the other cold emails that they get. Trust me, we're not pretending that we are reinventing the wheel with cold email. The reason that I chose to do cold email isn't because it's this new sexy technology that's like crazy. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of innovations with AI and everything that we implement, but everybody checks their email. So, and the fifth and final step of this is optimizing and scaling. So it's just continuous A/B testing, where the copy that we're sending out to these prospects is changing on a weekly basis through A/B testing, just making sure that we are getting the most optimal campaign possible. So really cool thing about cold email is that your feedback loops are extremely tight, because you're sending out so much volume so quickly, so you can actually get results from your tests really quickly. And that just helps us be able to iterate like on a crazy speed, so that your campaigns just keep getting better and better over time. So you get more and more meetings booked into your sales calendar as time goes on. It becomes more effective. And just to reiterate, every single step and sub-step that I just talked about is completely done for you. So you can just continue to do whatever marketing approaches are currently working for you, or just focus on the core tasks of your business while letting us handle your lead generation altogether. And in case you're wondering, I'm sure the next thing that's on your mind is, how much does this cost? And you only pay for the meetings that are qualified, that are booked into your sales calendar, so you don't have to run any risk of paying us a ton of money and we don't do anything with it. So all you have to do is actually go in the description, click on the link to book a call with us, so that we can see if we'd be a good fit to work together.